Okay, we see a board with high ore and relatively low wheat, I'm going to say. The ore is gonna a double ore spot with super high ore. The first pick will be done by Takeshi. I think placing on the ore is relevant, but you also gotta make sure you're not locked out of wheat. However, you could also very well be locked out of ore. I don't see really many ore spots, like either the 369 or 269 is gonna be picked, 1 or 2 other spots on the 9 ore, and 1 spot on the 4 ore. That's not a lot, so you potentially have to choose between getting on a ore spot, a high ore spot, or a high wheat spot. I think 8, 5, 10 looks like a really solid setup. However, how are you going to get ore? And that is definitely a problem on a high ore board with actually very little good ore spots. So there will be a lot of ore, and it will be divided between a few players. So that's going to be quite interesting. How many wheat spots do I expect to be available? I could see someone placing on 8, 5, 10, 5, 9, 10, 6, 5, 11, which would lock out the top 5 wheat. I could also see someone place on 10, 9, 2 and placing towards the 5 wheat, like towards the 5, 2. So then we would have 4 players on wheat. And potentially, I don't really see these strategies be combined very well. Like you could do 8, 5, 10, 5, 9, 10, however these spots are very far from each other, so they wouldn't be able to connect and you would be playing a longest road strategy, so not that great of a setup, I'd say. Not what you want to go for, and also it's very unlikely to be able to combine 8, 5, 10 with 5, 9, 10, as they are 2 of the best spots on the map. 5, 9, 10 could also be a really interesting starting setup, like you could go 5, 9, 10, point towards the 3 for 1 board. Okay, we see the settlement on the 5, 8, 10, what I was going to say. 5, 9, 10 combined with placing on the 6 ore. To expect the 6, 3 or the 6, 9 or the 6, 2 to be left open. Bob definitely plays on the 6, 9, 3. The reason that wouldn't be a good deal for Takeshi is that it's very likely all wheat sheep spots are picked. So 6, 9, 3 would be an excellent setup for him. Also a double sheep number wouldn't be too bad, like placing on the 6, 11, 12. As he has the sheep port nearby. It looks like he's gonna go for 6, 9, 3 and pointing towards the ore port. Yeah, I like this. Sheep port is likely going to be contested if someone places on the 4, 8, 3, not if they're placing on the 4, 8, 10, which seems like the more likely solution. But the ore port naturally does some great stuff, and you don't expect first position to place on the 6, 2 as they wouldn't have any sheep, and also very low production. However, they could be desperate for ore. However, Bobthebandit probably says there is going to be a better spot available for Takeshi when he comes around to make his play. Okay, so next up is Catanman. So far 2 wood spots have been picked. I don't think he's really looking for placing on a wood spot as there are very many wood spots and they are all kind of similar. Like placing on a 10 or a 3 won't make the difference in most of the cases. 2 ore spots have been selected by Bobthebandit, so there won't be that many great ore spots left. And there will be 2 good wheat spots left, and that's interesting, because what do you expect blue to go for if you, for example, place on the 9, 10, 11? Like locking out yellow from the ore, Hawkeye, from the 9 ore. Also go 9, 4, 11. But let's see what would be left. Like, what would Hawkeye do? Would he place on 6, 5, 11 and 5, 9, 10? Possibly. He could also go 6, 3, 11, 5, 9, 10, locking out all the other players from the 5 wheat at the top. No, you wouldn't really lock them out, as the 5, 4, 11 would still be left open. So that's not what Hawkeye is going to go for most likely. And if he wants to do that, he probably wants to place on the 8 brick. So what would be a good setup? Something like 5, 9, 10, 8, 4, 3. The 8, 4, 3 at the left part of the map with the 4 ore. That could definitely be a good setup with a decent balance within the resources, like high brick, 2 wood spots, good wheat, good sheep, a decent ore. A wood port would be able to provide extra ores as well as the 3 for 1 port. And you would probably steady up on your 4, 8, 3 before you steady up on the 5, 9, 10. So that would be a good balance within the production. And then you know, so then the 6, 5, 11 would be left open. What you could do is place 9, 10, 11, 6, 5, 11. You'd be doubling up on 11. Is that risky? Potentially. But it also has a really strong or cheap setup and you'd gain all 5 resources. Okay, interesting. So Catanman is gonna go with 5, 4, 10 placing towards the wood board. And what does that mean? This probably means that he wants to get an ore or a brick spot. And I think he will be looking at the 8, 3, 4 and the 9, 10, 11 as secondary positions. And it's very unlikely Hawkeye will pick both of them. I expect him to pick one of them at least. I know Hawkeye is a player who really likes 3-for-1 boards and balance within the production, as well as just overall production and all this good stuff like number diversity. I feel like 6, 5, 11 is the highest producing spot on the map left, and you also want to place on that ore. So the setup I'm still looking the most at is 6, 5, 11, 8, 4, 3. Something I have against 6, 5, 11, 9, 10, 11 is that he won't have a 3-for-1 board. I feel like Hawkeye is definitely gonna go for that. Placing on the 8, 4, 3 with your second settlement also allows you to pick up a free road. It's not that relevant for 4th position, but it could definitely scare some opponents away from trying to race you. Overall, I very much like 6, 5, 11, 8, 4, 3. Downside on that is that you would have an abundance of brick and not that much wood. So Catanman, I expect him to place on the 9 for sure. So 9, 10, 11 be what I expect, as he also has the wood board nearby. So then it would be 8, 4, 3, 6, 5, 11, 9, 10, 11 gone. So then would Bobthebandit come back around, and he'd have the potential to place on the 5, 9 at the top, get a wheat and sheep, or he could place on the 6, 11, 12. That's actually kind of risky by Catanman with his setup. However, he wouldn't be in the risk of losing the wood board, because Bobthebandit would only pick up a wheat and a sheep, so it's very difficult to win a race against Catanman in that fashion. Okay, we're going to see 6, 5, 11 and 8, 4, 3. Yeah, exactly as how I envisioned Hawkeye would place. So I expect Catanman to go 9, 10, 11, picking up a free road, picking up a little bit more wood. Every time the 10 rolls, he will have free wood if he places on a wood board, which is very nice. Could be a road, could be a free card plus a wood. You would be doubling up on the, well, actually you would have 5 numbers, I'd say, if you place on 10, 9, 11 and place on the 9, 10 with the wood board with your first settlement. And you'd have the potential to connect your settlements, as the 9, 4, 11 won't be able to place on, the 9, 3, 4 nobody will be able to place on, so only the 8, 4, 3. I don't see very many players intercepting that option, and 9, 10, 11 also provides blocking out the 10, 3, 11 and 9, 10, 2 for the other players. What would be the risk here? That first position in the name of Takeshi is gonna place on the wood board. So that would definitely be a risk, and that would be a reason to place on a 9, 4, 11 instead of 9, 10, 11. You could also go with something like 6, 2. Nope. Okay, he's gonna go 9, 10, 11, and he thinks with the 8, 4, 3 and the 6, 3, 11 left on the board. Okay, so Bob very decisively gonna go 5, 9, placing upwards. I like that. Placing strong or cheap game, very solid. Having a 3-for-1 port on the sand tile won't do that much, but maybe it can help him a little bit. He will be relying on the ore port most likely, as he'll have quite a bit of ore. So getting your first city on the 6, 9, 3, placing on the 6, 2, and having strong or cheap and a very difficult to block 5 wheat, as there are 3 players placing on there. However, the 9 ore will most likely be blocked a lot more, because there's 2 people placing on it and it's a high producing number. However, the risk is not that big for him, as he also has the 6 ore. I would have also considered 6, 3, 11 for Bobthebandit. It feels like having a higher wheat spot and the guarantee almost that his 5 wheat won't be blocked a lot. So Takeshi will be looking for either sheep or ore. Will be quite tough. However, there are 2 free hex spots left on the board, either the 6-11 combination with the 3 or the 12 or the 8-4-3. So here's what I would go with. I would try to make a deal with the Catan man to get the brick at the start, winning the race towards the 4-11. However, I would make this deal right now. I don't really see you winning on this board without ore. You can definitely win without ore. Like, that works a lot better on sports where there are not that much ore. You could also threaten Catan man, hey, I need this brick, or I'm going to place on the 9-10. Could very well be a good option. Like, you already have a lot of bricks, so why would you place on 8-4-3? And you could very much say, hey, I'm going to lose this game if I don't get ore. I need a port, or you need to trade me a brick to be able to cut off Hawkeye. I think that would be the best option. Like, he'll for sure have a 3-for-1 port available, as he is placed on the 8-5-10 with his first settlement. With the 8-4-3 you would have the sheep port available and the wheat port. They are not the resources you'd be looking to trade away. You could also do something like 6-11-12, place towards the brick port. Definitely a possibility, as having that ore availability on the 4-11 will not only generate you ore, but it will also make it less of a problem for others to trade with you. Okay, he's gonna go 8-4-3. Seems like the extortion plan either didn't happen or didn't work out. I feel like this is going to be a really tough setup to win from. You'll have to hope the 8 starts rolling quite a bit, for sure. And that he'll be able to trade something with Bobthebandit. Let's see if a trade went down. We see a 3 being rolled, giving Hawkeye and Takeshi wood. And Takeshi will be trying to place on a 5 wheat as soon as possible. Bobthebandit rolled a 7, so what resources will he be looking for? Brick, probably. And he'll be stealing from Hawkeye, who had the brick, so it would be 1 in 4. Get it? He got the wood instead, which he now tries to offer. If he had stolen from Catan man, he would have had a 33% chance to get the brick. What would be his reasoning to steal from Hawkeye? Hawkeye could be in a better position. Ah, yeah, okay, I see why Hawkeye would be in a better position. The 6-3-11 is left open, which will not only give him the 3-for-1 port, but also a lot more extra production. So he would have 6-5-11, 8-4-3, 6-3-11 and the 3-for-1 port. Yeah, that would definitely be a reason for me to steal from Hawkeye instead, even if your chances of getting the brick would be lower than by stealing from Catan man. Okay, so Catan man is looking for a specific resource here. We know Takeshi still had a wood left and a sheep left. So, I'm not sure. I think both just worked for him. No, he actually had the sheep already, so I'm not sure why he decided to go for this. Hawkeye also places down a road and the 6 rolls, giving ore and sheep as discussed before. So Bobthebandit has the possibility to get a development card here. Interesting to see if he's gonna go for it. He's definitely going to try to get a city first. The players here will be hand tracking. They won't trade an ore away for wood at this point in the game for sure. Takeshi also doesn't have the ore. He has 5 rolls, so then he gets a wheat and he either has a wood or a sheep left. Maybe if he offers a sheep, then Bobthebandit immediately gets 2 development cards. I could very much see... I think a development card right now is really good, as your 9 ore gets blocked a lot. Meh. Well, maybe not. Maybe he's fairly unblockable and he says, like, if I get a city now, they won't be able to stop me very easily. This is the downside of that. And I also think Hawkeye will steal from you. Okay, he says, I'm gonna give up this city. I'll try to keep my wheat. Where's Hawkeye going to put it? The 9 ore? Very well be the case. However, you don't want to block the ore if you want to get ore. However, at the start of the game, it's not that big of a risk. So Hawkeye is gonna steal from Bob. I feel like this is the right steal. I feel like Bob is in a really strong position. So, aside of the lack of a stable 3-for-1 port. And why do I say that? You don't want to place on the sand tile, as it will be a dead settlement. Oh yeah, alright, he stole a wood. So Hawkeye has 2 ore for sure. The 5 is rolled, so he has 2 wheat and 2 ore for sure. And he has another wood. Oh, that got stolen. Very difficult to hand track 4 people at the same time. Okay, what's Takeshi up to? He's trying to get a settlement, but doesn't have it quite yet, and he figures, okay, nobody has the resource I requested. I don't think the 8 has rolled, so that could be the resource he's looking for. Here we see the 10, which provides wood for Catanman twice and Takeshi once. How much does he need to get the settlement? I think he needs the brick. He got the sheep already. He didn't get stolen from, I believe, so he needs the brick only to get the settlement on the wood board. Very close, actually. But it will be difficult for him to potentially get the brick. However, if the 8 rolls by Takeshi, then he picks up 2. So then he might be able to get a trade-off. Does he still have that ore available? I think he does. Although I'm not sure. Okay, we don't see any play yet as I expected. And we see Hawkeye rolling another 7. He'll have to go to his second favorite spot. Quite a lot of options actually. Feel like he'll have to single out single player here, because the other options seem kind of subpar. No, I'm going to expect a single out, like placing on a hex where only one settlement is placed. Get a good trade out of this by saying, hey, if you don't want to get blocked, I need this resource, give it to me, and you have a guarantee that I won't block and rob you, which is a really strong strategy to say. Steals from Takeshi, and he is still looking for wood. Yeah, Takeshi did have a lot of wood. Okay. So we see this trade immediately go down, so he probably made the deal with Catanman and got the wood out of it. So now Hawkeye has the 3-for-1 port. It's also interesting to see that he went for the 3-for-1 port first and goes to the 6-3-11 later. I feel like this is the right setup, as nobody will try to contest his 3-6-11 most likely. And the 10 rolled for Catanman. He lost 1 wood, so I don't think he would be able to 4-for-1 and still be able to build. I don't think Takeshi will be able to build. Actually had the luck that he didn't have a wood, otherwise I suspect Hawkeye to block him. Okay, 5 wheat, bunch of wheat into the game. Not a lot of possibility for Bobthebandit here. He could try to trade for an ore. I feel like there must be another ore left in the game. Probably Catanman has one. He's going to offer sheep here. An option you could go for, hey, saying to the other players, or in this case Takeshi, hey, I'm wanting to get a development card. I want to block Hawkeye. I don't want you to be blocked. Would you be willing to give me an ore for either a sheep or a weed? I don't think it would be a successful line, but I feel like that's the best you can do in this case. Oh, wow, someone must be very desperate for weed. If Bobthebandit is saying, hey, if you give me 2 cards for it, then we have a deal, man. I'm not even sure if brick is in the game. Actually might actually like the weed. I thought the other 5 was also on the weed, but might be mistaken. Oh, that's blocked right now. But I feel like the 5 has rolled a couple times before, so I would actually be surprised that Takeshi likes weed. Okay, we see the 9. So Bobthebandit has picked up his potential development card, and Catanman picked up a second ore, I believe, offering a weed. We're hoping to get the ore. Oh, he gets the brick. So Takeshi was actually lacking the weed. I feel like I missed something with the hand tracking. Okay, there we see the 8. So now there's brick in a lot of brick in the game for sure. And Takeshi will be able to get the settlement on his turn for sure. Unless Hawkeye is gonna do some interesting play with his development card here. I don't expect he will. And he's offering brick, trying to see what he can get. Bobthebandit will definitely be interested. Going to indeed offer sheep for it. Let's see if Hawkeye accepts this. I don't think the 4 has rolled. And Bob also knows, hey, I think I can get a better trade with Takeshi here for that brick than having to give 2 cards to Hawkeye right now. Okay, we see the settlement by Takeshi. He still has a brick left, so I could see him offering that. Trying to see what Bobthebandit is willing to give for it, or maybe driving up the price a little bit. Takeshi has a strong setup right now, however he doesn't have the ore, and the rule for that would be no ore is a 7-point score, like getting 5 settlements and longest road. Not necessarily the case, but it's very difficult to win without ore. So let's see how Takeshi, or what strategy he's gonna go with. I feel like it's gonna be really tough for him to win this, even though he has a strong start. Bob could build a city, trading in 4 sheep for an ore. Get a wood here, he could get a brick here. He's gonna try 2-for-1 for ore, instead of having to do a 4-for-1. So looking for a city is more important for Bob right now than trying to get a road. I completely agree with this. And Bob has to catch up in production, as the other players already have the first settlement down. City would put him in the lead in terms of production, as cities generally produce more than settlements. We don't see an offer yet. Okay, so he's gonna go with the 4-for-1 and get the city down on the 639, I believe. Okay, he's actually going to city up the 5-9. So he says development cards are more important right now than going towards the ore port. I can agree with this, yes. I think both spots would have been fine, because the 5 wheat is not likely to be blocked a lot. Because the only player who is not on the 5 wheat is Takeshi, and he doesn't gain ore, so he won't be able to get a lot of development cards. So, and that's why he would be very likely to pin the 5 wheat down. However, that could also be the reasoning to exactly go for the 5-9, because the 5 and the 9 will not be blocked that much. Wonder what Catanman is going to do with this 13 card possibility. He has a lot of wood for sure. He has the wood port. Definitely, he has a lot of options. I feel like he still has 2 ore in his hand. So the 5 has rolled a couple times. I feel like we're going to see a city this turn, or a lot of development cards. That's really interesting. What would you go for in this case? I feel like city on the 9, 10, 11 would be really good. Getting more brick would be excellent because you gain a lot of wood. Upgrading the second 10 as well. So for both 10s you would be able to get a free card. Getting 2 free cards every time a 10 rolls is awesome. And also getting a little bit more ore won't hurt. You'll gain a lot of wheat. You have a lot of sheep. A little bit more ore is definitely very useful. So city on 9, 10, 11 would be great. He might also be looking into cutting off Bobthebandit. I'm not sure what the perceived lead is right now. Maybe other players are saying, hey, Bobthebandit just built a city. He's in the lead right now. We need to cut him off to the ore port, otherwise he'll win. So that could be an option. Maybe with 13 cards it's possible to place on the 6-3-11 before Hawkeye does, as he doesn't have a road down and only 3 cards in his hand right now. I don't think the 11 has rolled enough to justify that plan, but we'll see. It's a possibility. I feel like a city on 9, 10, 11 is better as taking the risk towards cutting off Hawkeye. I feel like the Catan man is in a really strong position right now. Okay, we're gonna see what he's going to do. He's gonna go for bricks. And he's going to cut off Bobthebandit here. Actually, placing on the 6-2 and the ore port is really strong. I would only go for this line if he has the settlement in his hand right now, or at least a death card. Like doing this just to cut off Bobthebandit, I feel like might not be the right move. Because the ore port does not do that much for him, as he didn't city up on the 6-9-3. Okay, we see a development card. Okay. I like how he paced this, like building 2 roads and a development card while helping out others. Doesn't really put a target on your back that much, especially with the setup Hawkeye is having, and the fact that the players are focusing on Bobthebandit right now. Okay, year of plenty, getting to ore, and we see the city on the 6-5-11. Interesting. So 6-5-11 over 8-4-3. Reason for that could be is that the 6-5-11 has higher production, and also because he already doubled up on the 4 ore with his second settlement. I like it. He also has the 3-for-1 port, so getting more production in is generally a good thing. Okay, Takeshi with a bunch of roads. 8 has rolled, 10 has rolled. Yeah, making it very difficult for Bobthebandit to place in a good spot with his settlements. Cutting him off to the max. That's a bummer for him, and a great teamwork by the others. I feel like Hawkeye is the one, is the mastermind behind this, as he didn't have to spend any resource into cutting off Bobthebandit while having the full advantage, and also building a city in the meantime. And let's see what he is able to do with the 7 cards he has available right now. So I feel like Hawkeye is taking maximum advantage of the moves done right now, and I feel like that's really well done. 6 rolled, so we know there's ore and sheep in the game. Sheep by Hawkeye, ore by Bobthebandit. To see who's gonna get road will be very interesting. I feel like every player besides Bobthebandit could get longest road. Takeshi has a lot of wood brick available, however he most likely won't be able to connect his settlement spots. Hawkeye will be able to connect the settlement spots, has a little bit of wood and a bunch of brick and a 3-for-1 port. And Catanman, well, the same can be said for him, except he has a lot of wood and a little bit of brick. In terms of largest army, I feel like we're gonna get a development card soon. Hawkeye says, no need for development cards yet, I'm gonna go for this settlement on the 6-3-11, which is an awesome spot, especially to place on with my 4th settlement. So 9, another bunch of sheep and brick, or sheep and ore. Bobthebandit could get a development card, he could 4-for-1 for a city, or if he can get this trade, then he'll be able to city up again. This trade also works. I feel like that card is the right move, and Bob agrees with me, yeah. And he picks up a knight. He and Catanman are most likely the first players with knights, and the 12 rolled. Not too relevant. We know Catanman at least doesn't have a victory point, as the dice icon showed. He had a playable development card. He doesn't really have to play a knight right now as he isn't blocked, and I think it would be not very resourceful to spend a knight this early in the game while you're not blocked. Could be that you want to prevent Hawkeye from building on the 6-3-11, however there are other ways to do that as well. Like getting some extra production for Catanman is the right thing to do right now, and he agrees. He builds on the 6-2 and the ore port, and he'll have a strong setup for sure. And we see the 11 a key number in this game, I feel like, because it gives wheat to Hawkeye, which is not that relevant, but it gives brick to Catanman, and he'll have a lot of wood available, and well, if you have a lot of wood, every brick counts. So let's see what Hawkeye is able to do with the brick and the wheat he just picked up. He also, okay, he gets the settlement after doing the 3-for-1 trade with brick, and instantly rolls another 11, so Hawkeye is definitely in a really strong position right now. And Bobthebandit might have to use his knight to stop Hawkeye. Oh, and the 4 rolls. I think he... Now, well, in hindsight, he would have used the knight to block Hawkeye's 4, because now he has 2 brick, 2 wheat, and 4 and 2 ore. So really close to getting a city, and with a 6 he'll get development cards. Also not what you want. Yeah, we're going to see this. And this could go on the 6 or the 4. Okay, the 4 would stop him from getting cities, the 6 would stop him from getting development cards. And Bobthebandit picks up a road building. That's huge for him, as roads will be the most difficult to get by for Bobthebandit. Still has 2 settlement spots available, considering the 9 sheep and the 3-for-1 port on the desert. You could also go to the 6-12 by cutting off Hawkeye, whatever his preference is, and another 11. So I feel like Hawkeye will be able to 3-for-1 brick for ore next turn. Let's see what Takeshi is up to. I feel like with 4 cards in hand, not a lot to do right now. He could be able to build a settlement on the 6 ore. Nope, no movement by Takeshi, as Bobthebandit will roll a 6, only rewarding Catanman and Bobthebandit with an ore, and no sheep for Hawkeye. I feel like blocking the 6 sheep is more important right now. Like, if Hawkeye gets a lead into the development card race, I feel like it will be impossible to stop him. Like, if he gets another city, it might be possible to stop him by pinning down his resources, like, a lot, and having some luck on the roll. But I feel like overall it will be really difficult to stop Hawkeye. You could definitely make a longer road than he does. Like, Catanman has an excellent setup for that, already has more roads placed down than Hawkeye did. And he'll have an interesting turn this one as well. We know he has 2 ore in his hand. We know he has a bunch of brick in his hand. The rest are all going to be assumptions, so probably won't make them. He's looking for weed. So we could assume here that he is either trying to get a development card or a city. I feel like second one is going to be the most likely option. It could very well be the case that he doesn't have any wood available right now. Probably does have the resources to 2-for-1 ore for whatever he needs. However, I feel like ore is his most relevant resource right now, as development cards and cities should be his next objective, in my opinion. Okay, we see a trade for ore with Bobthebandit. So maybe he can do a 2-for-1 for wheat, get a city. Okay, he actually gets a development card. Interesting. Interesting move. And Bobthebandit just picked up 2 bricks, which is huge for him. Hawkeye picked up another brick. Could go for a death card or could go for a city by being able to 3-for-1 brick. I don't think anyone will trade right now. Bobthebandit is the player looking for brick the most, and he just got 2. And also Hawkeye is in a formidable position, as you don't want to steal from him right now. Okay, he gets the ore and gets the city. So with connecting his roads, then he'll be at 8. Players recognize that. I feel like this next block is going to be on Hawkeye for sure. They know he still has brick, still has weed. I feel like blocking the 4 ore is the right move to do here. Or maybe the 3 the 3 wood. Not that great, as they aren't high producing spots. Could go for the 5 wheat, blocking all players. Try to make a deal with Catanman. Hey, I'm going to place it here. Can you put it back on the 6 sheep? I feel like it's the best blocking target. Great options for Takeshi. I would place it on the 4 ore right now. This is for sure a good block to stop him from getting ore. Still has wheat in his hand, so that's not going to be a big problem getting wheat for Hawkeye, as he is on the 5, the 11 and the 3-for-1 port. So every 4 means a city or a bunch of death cards. But Takeshi is considering more options here. I feel like the block definitely has to be on Hawkeye. All the other players, well, maybe Catanman has a chance, but he's definitely not in as strong as a position as Hawkeye is. He's gonna go for the 5 weed. Okay, considering. Okay, he's gonna steal from Hawkeye. Maybe he made a deal, or maybe he tried to make a deal saying, hey, I'm gonna put it on a 5 weed unless you can trade me the resource I need for my settlement. I'm not a huge threat right now. That could be a possibility. Let's see. Brick for the weed. So still no settlement. No city either. Okay. Tough game for Takeshi for sure. For sure. Fortunately for him, the 8 has rolled and he picked up a bunch of brick right now, but it's very difficult. Bobthebandit doesn't have a lot of options. Decided to pass and keep his road building. Okay. Wanted to see Night by the Man, putting it on the 4 instead of the 6. I feel like both options would have been fine. Okay, now it's gonna go on the 6. Or perhaps the 3. But I feel like the 6 is, a little bit more expected to roll, and it also helps you out very much against the potential development card Hawkeye can get. Hawkeye didn't have a lot of fun from that 8. And now the 6 is blocked, so I don't see any moves made by Hawkeye here. Yeah. She rolled the 3. He has the wheat, he has the brick, he has the wood, or hasn't rolled in a while, but we do see the settlement on the 6 ore. And he has his next settlement spot available on the 3. So see if he's able to do something right now. He is on the ore right now, and it also won't be blocked a lot unless Hawkeye is gonna go for a lot of death cards. So that's very positive for him. However, he's in I feel like it's quite an unwinnable position right now for Takeshi, but he does have a setup for longest road. However, very many other players have, in my opinion, a better setup, and he isn't anywhere close to a city. So, however, he does get to wheat right now, and Bobthebandit will be very happy with this roll. Okay, he decides to get a development card. It's a knight. I feel like he should play the road building and put down a settlement right now. Maybe he wants to guarantee. Yeah, okay. So, gonna go with it. Interesting to see what he's gonna do with this. So he's gonna cut off Hawkeye and plays on the 6-12. Yeah, okay. So what would be the reasoning for this? Like, is 6-12 that much better than the 9 9 sheep? I don't think so. Is cutting off Hawkeye nice? Definitely. As the 612 would be a road settlement for him, and every victory point Hawkeye can get easily, well, it will bring him so much closer to the win if he gets it. So yeah, I think I like this. Although it's an expensive one, because that one road could really be the difference maker for Bobthebandit. So 7 rolls, so Hawkeye and Takeshi have to hand in cards, and Hawkeye will be able to block the 6 ore, I assume. See what he's gonna decide to do here. See him stealing from Bobthebandit as he has 3 ore in his hand and has a strong setup. He could also steal from the Catanman, who has a potentially stronger setup with the death cards and the longest road potential. You could also try to extort, like saying, hey, I can block another spot, don't want me to steal, then I can make a deal here. Gonna steal from Bobthebandit and gets the ore. I think that's the card he wanted to get, as he has a bunch of wheat in his hand. He could do that he is able to do a 3-for-1 trade with brick for a sheep and gets a development card. But I might be mistaken on this. He doesn't necessarily need to save his ore, because like every time a 4 rolls he gets 3 ore, so that's enough for a city. Getting a death card is definitely very useful for him. Probably see Bobthebandit use a knight, so he'll be very close to the city, or I mean the largest army. It's also very likely Bobthebandit picks up a sheep with a 9, 6 or a 12 rolling, so that would give him more death cards. Interested to see what will happen. Hawkeye could decide to hold, as he might not have the possibility to 3-for-1. I don't see anyone making a trade with Hawkeye right now. Didn't really, well, he cooled down a little bit in his expansion, but still in a threatening position. Okay, we see a road, another road. Okay, he does a good setup for a loop around. If he connects his settlements on the 6 sheep and the 4 ore, he will have a road of 10. Very hard to stop. See what will happen. I feel like the block should be in Hawkeye again. 6 sheep should definitely be a good option. You could see Bobthebandit using his knight. Gonna go for the 5 wheat again. He perhaps he doesn't know if Bob has knight. Wants to find out as much as possible. Or maybe he just says, hey, blocking wheat is a good idea because it's quite rare on this board. Stole from Hawkeye and doesn't have many options. Gonna see the knight by Bobthebandit, saying, I want my wheat. Not that relevant, but he also picks up a wood, which is very relevant as he will be able to build a road. And he picks up a sheep. Interesting, a lot of options for Bobthebandit right here. Could get a road and a development card. Do one or the two. Could try to trade for ore. Build a city on a 693. I would definitely try to trade away my sheep. Okay, he's gonna go for a dev card. Maybe a development card is more important right here. Oh wow, especially if you get that one. Wow. Yeah, I would place a road here. 4 cards is not that risky, however, you want to get, like, you want to secure that road being placed down. Like, if you get stolen from, definitely a risk. Okay, Bobthebandit will be tracking this very well, as there is a lot of wheat in the game right now. Brick offer by Catanman. Bob is very interested in this, I assume, but he doesn't make an offer. Safely assume that Catanman isn't looking for wheat right now, and he passes his turn. So Hawkeye to roll, and his 4 is blocked. That's why I was suggesting Hawkeye would development card up earlier on. He might have made the decision to go for longest road instead of army. However, I feel like by sitting up on the 843, where he did, makes him the obvious threat with no way to protect himself, really. Really interested to see how this pans out. So Takeshi, 8 cards in hand, could be able to build a settlement on the 3 sheep. 3 wood with the sheep board. Assume he doesn't have a lot of ore available right now. For the other players, it's very likely they want to make a trade with Takeshi, as he isn't the most threatening player right now. You could also see Takeshi being the dead player who takes the longest road. which would be an advantage for the players who go for development cards, and definitely not for Hawkeye, as who seems to be invested in the longest road here. And it could definitely work for Hawkeye, like he already got 2 cities down, that won't be the problem at the end. He'll just have to invest his cards into roads and the remaining 2 victory points. It could be a settlement on the 8 brick with the 3-for-1 port, could be a settlement on the 11-12, maybe go a little bit further, or you could go with another city. Takeshi decides to go for a development card here. Probably hoping for a monopoly, and another 4 by Hawkeye blocked, so definitely definitely not what he was looking for. So Bobthebandit will have an interesting turn. Well, every of his turns will be interesting with the monopoly in hand. I feel like getting a development card is pretty good. Okay, he decides to get another one. That's more interesting. Maybe you want to keep the sheep, however sheep is not that relevant for him. He would potentially want to keep a sheep to build the settlement, and maybe want to keep the ore to build the next city. However, dev cards are also quite nice, as he will be raised by the Catanman, and who just got great news by rolling a 10. Oh, wow, that's quite early. So, long roads, bunch of dev cards in hand. No knight being used despite Bobthebandit being a lead for the army. Place it on the 6 sheep. Yeah. Oh, and the dev card. So maybe he was waiting to see what he picks up with this before making a decision. He decides to do nothing with the active dev cards, and there is a 9 roll. I feel like Bobthebandit is going to play. Oh wow, another 9. So this will bring Catanman and Bob quite close to cities. Okay, we see the 9 by Takeshi, probably placing it on a 5 wheat again, which makes a lot of sense with these 9s being rolled. You know that Bobthebandit has a lot of ore and a lot of sheep. Same can be said for Takeshi. Or no, Catanman. Yeah, Catanman. He is also on the 9 ore and the 9 sheep. So I feel like blocking the 5 wheat is definitely awesome here. What will be his next goal? Trying to get the second monopoly, as the first monopoly has been claimed by Bobthebandit. However, we also don't know what Catanman is up to with his development cards. We haven't seen many knights used. Does make sense as he wasn't blocked, but feels like a bit early for Bobthebandit to start using his monopoly, as he'll be able to use a knight very effectively on his turn. I think he wants to look into blocking the Catanman and Hawkeye. I don't know if that's possible. Only the 5 wheat is shared spot and the 11 brick. Not too impactful. Well, 5 wheat is very impactful, however, it's also shared by Bob. So he'll have to make a decision where to steal and where to rob. You steal from Catanman, he might be able to place it on a spot you desire. Won't be an ore spot. Be 6 sheep. Like it's going to be the 6 sheep if you place it on a Catanman. Okay, another dev card picked up by Takeshi. Like, I feel like he feels like his spot is very hopeless, and Monopoly would be the only opportunity to get it. This might give away that Bobthebandit has a Monopoly. Why else would he hold back on his knight? However, a reason could be that he wants to see what development cards Catanman is up to, but he could also try to see that by blocking him. He doesn't risk losing the army if he doesn't place a knight, so he could hold on, yeah. I would personally like the knight, as the 5 rolls you'll be able to get a city on the 6-9-3, or more dev cards if you want to. However, could make the assumption that Catanman has 1 or 2 victory points, then it's not very likely to be able to pick up victory points. However, it's also not very unlikely, as a lot of knights are in the game right now and not a lot of victory points. Okay, so we're going to see the knight 4 sheep. What does that? Oh, he wanted to get a brick. Ah. See him do a 4-for-1 for wheat, get another dev card. Why does he want the brick so badly? Yeah, this won't go down. Nobody will try to make a trade with the Bobthebandit here. And Takeshi doesn't have any cards. Oh, we actually see an offer. They're probably talking right now as... Yeah, okay, so we won't be able to see what card Catanman is offering. So I'm looking for something like a 2-for-1. Don't want to help out Bob a lot. Gets another development card. Picks up another knight. Okay. I feel like army is very much set for Bobthebandit right now. So we see Catanman has at least one playable death card. And he decides to wait. Okay. 4 is not too impactful for him, so could be a good reason. 8 cards. Not necessarily reason, but it could be the case that he doesn't have a knight available, so rolling a 7 will make it question more. Okay, so the 6 sheep is going to be the block, and the steel is going to be the ore on from Bobthebandit's hand. Oh wow, he definitely wanted that card. Definitely wanted that. So city's up to 6, 9, 10 if I'm not mistaken. You can see it very clearly, but okay. And instantly gets the second ore. And the 6. So Catanman has 3 ore and a sheep in his hand right now. There's a knight, or maybe he wants to wait. Like if a 5 rolls, that's awesome for a mono. 6 isn't too impactful for him. Okay, he doesn't want a mono yet. Definitely stealing from Catanman. Or and rolls the 6, so gets rewarded for this decision. Catanman is back to 3 ore. So 5 roll gets him very close to next city. 1 card away, or he could get a death card victory point. I feel like there are a bunch of victory points in his hand, so it will be difficult for anyone to stop Catanman right here. Hawkeye must be the one to steal the longest road from him. He might be able to get the brick from Bobthebandit. Guess he doesn't have a lot of cards in his hand. Oh, we see the Year of Plenty. It's this game. It's the weed. It's the city, and no, it's not game yet. So, well, let's see. Okay, it must be priority number 1 to give Hawkeye the longest road right now. For all players who still think they have a chance of winning. He gets... Okay, we actually see a different game plan by Hawkeye. Probably didn't have a lot of these cards available. Very difficult for Hawkeye to get longest road as... But I'm surprised to see the... Okay, oh, 7 roll. 7 roll, so Bobthebandit won't have as many options as he wanted to get. Oh, actually surprised to see he wants to get rid of his brick. Maybe he wants to maximize the chance of him. Be like, very likely he picks up an ore, so, or sheep, so I'm not sure. Okay, this guarantees a development card. Still mono, pick up a lot of ore. Like he's able to pick up 2 ore from the Catanman and 3 from Hawkeye. Maybe 1 from Takeshi as well. Will probably be saving up for cities. Don't see a mono yet. We do see a knight by the Catanman. Hawkeye and Bob are the biggest threats. Sheep seems good. However, not the most impactful block right now. Could block his own 5. If a 5 rolls, that, like, he might know that Bobthebandit has a monopoly. So if the 5 rolls, there's a lot of wheat in the game, and Bobthebandit might be able to do 4 or 5 death cards in the turn. Not what you want. Definitely not what you want to see. Okay, gonna go for the 6 sheep. Feel like it's a good block. Doesn't do as much as you would be hoping, but it's also definitely not a problem. And the 8 rolls giving brick. Turn passed by the Catanman, and Hawkeye is next up. He has lost a lot of cards so far. Picked up a knight. That was not what he was looking for. He was looking for victory points and monopoly, and Year of Plenty. perhaps a road building to make his longest road ambition a little bit easier. He likes stealing from the Catanman is a must here. Might block the 5 wheat. What else? The 10 wood at the top. I feel like it's the best block here. Yeah, for sure. Still surprised that Bobthebandit threw away his brick. Like keeping this much sheep. Well, that's fair. Essentially with the idea, hey, when the 5 rolls, I'm gonna mono it, and then I'll win, which may or may not be the case. So Hawkeye's looking into different options as well. So maybe the 9 ore is also an option. I feel like Catanman already has a bunch of ore in his hand. I don't know if that would be really impactful. Catanman didn't pick up anything from the 8 when it was rolled. And he might actually be considering blocking the 5 wheat to prevent Catanman from getting that city. However, if the 10 rolls, you are also able to get 2 wheat, so I feel like blocking the 10 is slightly better. And also, you might be able to assume that Bobthebandit has the monopoly, so if 5 rolls before Catanman's turn, Catanman won't have any wheat. So yeah, I would, with knowing that Bobthebandit has a monopoly, I would definitely go for the 10 wood. Gonna go for the ore. Also makes sense because he has the ore port. And we see the 5. We see the 5, but Hawkeye and Takeshi are still able to make some moves. Or Bobthebandit is able to steal a bunch of cards. So let's see if Hawkeye is able to invest his wheat. He has 11 cards. And it's probably looking to steal the longest road. Bob doesn't have any cards to help him. Takeshi does have brick. Hawkeye also has brick from the 8 that rolled. In the 3 in a while, it may have rolled, but I'm not sure. Has wheat. I don't think he has a bunch of sheep. I believe he still has 3 ore from the time the 4 rolled and it wasn't blocked. So, what he is able to do. Okay, gets a city, bring him to 7 and pass his turn, hoping that Catanman won't be able to close out the game within the next orbit. The 6. Sheep and ore to the game. And Bobthebandit will be tracking this very, very carefully. Let's see what Takeshi is able to do. Maybe he is able to take longest road eventually. A little bit of wishful thinking. He will probably be able to get enough brick, but not enough wood. And the other players also won't make it very easy to help him, as Hawkeye is also looking for longest road. Bobthebandit doesn't really gain much road building material. So what did we see? A road towards the... Oh! Ooh, this... Not what he was looking for. Okay, gonna wait for Hawkeye what he decides to throw up. Might have to wait another turn before using his monopoly. So he is able to pick up a bunch of wheat, so he might throw away his wheat. He decides to hold on to the city, having a guaranteed strong play. Okay, gonna block Catanman here for sure, and he probably hopes to block Hawkeye as well. 10 wood is again an excellent option. Bobthebandit is eyeing over it. Seems like it's gonna go down. Yeah, picks up the sheep. Now has the possibility to get a development card or a city. I feel like a city is the no-brainer call, as he needs that extra victory point. He needs a little bit more production and already has another knight. I feel like his largest army is safe. Maybe he would be looking into possibilities to help some other player take the longest road. For Hawkeye, it's now or never to, or I mean, it's in 2 turns or never to get longest road, because if he gets on 8 victory points, then nobody will be able to trade him. And maybe they already won't be able to trade him because he has the Settlement space available for his 10th victory point if he takes longest road. Picks up a bunch of brick, looking for that. So Catanman for the win? No, not yet. So options. I feel like there is 6 brick in Hawkeye's hand. Could also be an interesting option for Bobthebandit. Like, Takeshi has a bunch of brick, Hawkeye has a bunch of brick. mono all the brick. Could be the case. I don't see it happening. Gets the wood, gets the settlement, rolls a 6. The 6 and the 9 have been rolling quite a lot at the end of the game, so a lot of ore and a lot of sheep. So the wheat is very relevant. I feel like Catanman still has another wheat available in his hand. And picked up an ore as well. So he might be able to get another development card. Yeah, the reason I'm really looking for this is that Bobthebandit has this monopoly available. And I feel like that's his only chance of winning this game. Hawkeye has his 8 victory points, bunch of cards in his hand. Only needs 4 roads, so Catanman might also be looking into extending his longest road. Stop Hawkeye. Takeshi might be looking into... Well, I think he's really looking forward into when this game has ended. As I don't think he really has a chance to do anything in this game. Maybe he is able to take longest road somehow. Maybe he has a monopoly and can do some stuff right now. I think it's great that he still considers all his options. Okay. Trade for wheat, city, development card. The development card, are you going to get another one? Doesn't seem like it. Maybe get settlement. That would be his 4th settlement on the board. Okay, no. So a 12 roll, sheep for Bob. Like there is still a little bit of wheat in the game left. So not for Takeshi, he just needed to port into the sheep. Okay. Knight picked up by Catanman. I feel like Hawkeye is the man to block right now. You want to stop him from building roads. I feel like an interesting block would be the free wood, as it is the only possibility for Hawkeye to steal the longest road right away. Other blocks like the 6 sheep would also be great and interesting, stopping all that sheep coming in. The 4 ore, also definitely good possibility, and this, okay, he decides to steal from Bob. And that's a 5. So this might be what a lot of players were looking for. And Catanman is definitely going to use it to get the development card. We knew he had the ore from the 6 roll. Picked up wheat now, and he stole a sheep from Bob. So we're going to see at least 1 dev card. Assume 1 at most. He was stolen from in the meantime, so he might have lost the ore. Okay, we're going to see 1 dev card. Okay, that's it. And no game yet. And Catanman gets quite close to army, however Bobthebandit still has another knight in his hand left. Ooh, the 10. Wonder what Takeshi's victory point development cards are. How many victory points are in the game? I assume there's 1 by Catanman. Well, I have no clue about Takeshi's. So sheep for ore. Hawkeye gets the development card and passes his turn. Really feel like road is his win condition, but he's gonna go with another game plan. Maybe considering that there aren't a lot of victory points in the deck. I haven't had a good check at Takeshi's possibilities. For example, if Takeshi has 2 victory points in his hand, he would be at 7. I feel like he is still able to place 2 development cards down, or I mean 2 settlements down. That would put him on 9 victory points. 12 cards, might be able to do it with that. 2 settlements and a victory point from the dev card stable might mean a comeback win from Takeshi. It's very wishful thinking, but it means he's not out of the game yet. So, or maybe he's back into the game. So that's cool to see. Definitely. Bobthebandit will hope he won't roll a 7 this time. And there are a bunch of cards in the game. Might have to steal the wood from Catanman, or maybe he will be able to come up with a plan to win this turn himself. He will be paying close attention to what Takeshi does with his wood, as he was able to pick up 2 as well from the 10 roll. 6 was rolled, so there's 4 in the game. Catanman has 1, Takeshi has 1, and obviously Bobthebandit picked up 2. The other 6 was blocked, so that doesn't provide any sheep into the game. So the situation right now is that I assume Catanman is at 9, Hawkeye could be at 9. Takeshi could make a turn to get to 9 with some wishful thinking. Bobthebandit has his 8th victory point in hand and a monopoly. Stop all the other players. I feel like Catanman is the biggest threat to stop still, as we don't know what development card Hawkeye was able to pick up. I feel like Takeshi is also considering his options here. Like, he must think very closely, like every mistake, every small detail will screw up his chances. Might have a monopoly in hand. That would definitely screw up Bobthebandit's plans, because he might take the cards Bob is eyeing over as well. We know a 5 is rolled, so there is wheat in the game. You've seen a road building by Bobthebandit, seen a Year of Plenty by Hawkeye, like also by Catanman, although I'm not 100% certain on that. Really interested and excited to see what Takeshi is able to come up with. Must have still brick still. Was very afraid of the potential Hawkeye had with his bricks, but Takeshi has more brick. 1 and 8 rolls, he picks up 3, and Hawkeye picks up 2. So, well, there's also another tournament coming up on the 27th and the 28th of June, where we'll have a very big prize pool. Like, it's a type of tournament where all players are able to play 3 rounds of Swish. So you play at least 3 tables before, some players who performed well are moving on to the semifinals, and players who didn't perform as well get knocked out. So that would be the first day. The second day will be the semifinalist will be competing for the prize pool in another triple swish. So that would be Sunday the 28th. And they will be trying to qualify for the grand final, where the final 4 players are competing in 1 game, which will be live streamed on this channel as well. So that would be June 28th. So that's a tournament coming up. You can find the sign-up form in the King of Catan Discord channel. If I remind myself, I will try to post it in the stream as well, in the stream channel. Or maybe I should make a tournament page linked on this Twitch channel. It allows you to see what tournaments are coming up. There's also another tournament coming up, which Bob, Catanman, Hawkeye, and Takeshi will all be competing in, which will be the KOC Premier League, which is a tournament for the competitors who have proven themselves in King of Catan to be really strong competitors, like these 4 players, with very difficult criteria. I had to search to make it, so really looking forward to that. And we have like 20 plus players competing against each other in a round robin system, where the 4 players who do best move on to the semi-final in week number 9. You play 1 game each week to determine who has performed the best in this tournament. So yeah, especially looking forward to that one. Well, I'm actually looking forward to both tournaments. Today is also another Catan Championship going on. I'm not sure about the name. And so really happy that you tuned into the stream to watch this instead of participating in the tournament. I hope this way of bringing the game to you with some various Discord trouble. Well, I wouldn't say real trouble, but we're having some creative options. I hope you enjoy it this way. So yeah, that's coming up. Season 3 for Cities and Knights is being played right now. And the base game season is also very active, as I said before. 180 players forming in 3 weeks of action, and then the top 16 makes it to the semifinals, and then they all play a game against each other and make it to this grand final. Looking into possibilities of making that semifinal a little bit more or a little bit less luck reliant, like it's only one game. Okay, we see a move by Takeshi. Traded in 3 bricks for an ore. And we see him sitting up on the 843. Okay. Will he be able to get another play down? Didn't use a development card yet. What cards haven't we seen? Spent 2 ore to brick. 2 ore to wheat, 3 brick. I feel like he must have another wheat, as when the 5 rolls he picks up 3 wheat. Probably doesn't have another ore, otherwise he wouldn't 3 for 1 for brick. So I'm going to assume, like, I haven't seen the 3 roll in a while. I have seen the 4 roll, so maybe we can assume he also has sheep. And I feel like he should have another brick, just because the 8 has rolled a couple of times. Maybe he has more wheat. So his options could at best be 3 for 1 for an ore and get a development card. Okay, gonna see nothing. And a 9 roll. Okay, getting wheat would be excellent for Bobthebandit right now. Not a player who does the dirty monopolies. So I don't expect that type of play from him. However, the final can be the type of game, like, I wouldn't do it in a normal game, but in a final it could be an option. I don't expect that to happen, but we'll see. He also tried to steal the wood from Catanman, so that would allow him to potentially get a settlement and a city. Don't expect him to use the knight right here. I feel like Monopoly is a must use right now, as Catanman will very likely win the game if you don't. So I feel like his only chance is getting wheat, getting 4 or 5 death cards, hoping you'll pick up a bunch of victory points. I feel like there are still 3 victory points left in the deck, maybe even 4. No, I feel like 3 is like the absolute best case scenario, but 2 could also work. Like, if you get 2 victory points and city up, you also win the game. Unable to do 2 cities, he only has a settlement spot available on the 612. We're going to see the monopoly. Now let's see what he tries to get with it, wheat or wood. Or, interesting. So they probably calculated that that was the only way for Catanman to win on this turn. Like, okay, so now Bob has to make the decision, do I city up or do I get death cards? Already has a playable death card for next turn, knight. He could be try to get 3 development cards on this turn. There's no ports available, except a juicy 4 for 1 port. Going to see it. That's death card number 1. It's not a victory point, it's a road building. He is, with that road building, he would be 3 roads away from taking longest road. So now the option, city or death card. City or death cards, I must say. He will be able to trade his ore 4 for 1. He could also do a settlement, trading 8 ore for wood and brick. Oof. This road building does potentially nothing for Bob. Like, even if he gets longest road, he's still 1 point away from the win. And how does he get those 3 other roads? Like, road building is the worst card he could have seen. Okay, now he picks up a victory point. He could get 1 more victory point if he trades in the wheat. See what he picks up. Not a victory point, it's another knight. Okay. Not what Bob was looking for. I also assume that either Catanman or Hawkeye is going to make the road longer. Well, if Hawkeye makes the road longer, then the game is done, but Catanman definitely could. He has 4 wood in his hand, he doesn't have any ore. I feel like he has the weed. And this should be game. This should be game. Well, it was very unlikely for him to use the knight, but I assume his first development card is a victory point. Ooh, a monopoly. Okay, that's definitely game. So pick the ore back. I was able to city up on the, well, either the 9-10 or the 6-2. Maybe he's looking into different options. Who knows? 16 cards. So I feel like it's with 8 wood, 3 ore, weed, should be able to get 2 cities anyway. So okay, 1 city is enough. That's game. And Catanman is the season 11 King of Catan champion. Congratulations, and also I think very well played. Hawkeye was actually able to pick up that victory point, so I feel like if that 10 didn't roll, Catanman would still have won. He would have been able to steal the free ore from Bob. Yeah, I don't really think anyone had options to really win this game at the last orbit outside of Catanman. I feel like Hawkeye maybe should have tried to get road sooner. However, not many players had wood. Like there were a couple times he had some break, but would have been very tough. I'm also quite surprised why Bobthebandit threw away that brick. Well, maybe. Yeah, I feel like he would have been able to get a settlement down, and that might have helped with a game like Settlement City, like that type of win plan without victory points. But overall, very well played by these players. Like a lot of decisions I found to be interesting. I feel like other decisions could have been made. I don't know what is said in the chat exactly. Like I really wanted to see Takeshi going for 6-11, winning a race against Hawkeye, but that's one of these options that's very difficult. And also don't forget that the other players are all master manipulators. Like they try to trick you into making the wrong decision. So that's also difficult, or at least they are trying to trick you into making decisions that are good for them. Although they will strictly deny they do that. Thank you very much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Like, subscribe, and leave a comment. I've replied to every single comment, so come at me. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope to see you on the next one, and bye.